Hey, how you doing? I'm Mark. I'm the developer of Strum for the iPad. Thought I'd do a wee quick tech demo just to sort of show you some of the features. And apologies for the quality of the demo. I shot it on my phone. I can't really afford a video camera, so sometimes the focus goes in and out when I'm kind of trying to show stuff. It keeps trying to detect a face as it's picking up my hand and things like that. So sorry about that. Anyway, here we go. This is Strum. You've got 6 instruments on it. You've got the piano, the glockenspiel, the harp, the celesta, the sitar, and finally the marimba. It's also got wireless MIDI out, so that means that you can control any instrument that you have in your software packages, such as GarageBand or Logic. If you've got a Mac, you can connect wirelessly to it and use Strum as a wireless MIDI controller. So what I'll do is I'll just briefly go through the layout. You've got 4 rows of keys. Each row has a different chord type that you can assign to it. So the first row you'll see here, that's all major chords. So if I play C there, that's a C major, that's a G major, and that's a D major, and so on. The layout of the buttons is all according to the circle of fifths. So if you play stuff that's spatially close together, like A is close to D, and G's close to D again, and finally back to your root note, it'll always sound nice. The further away you go from your root note, you know, you've got more of a journey to get back there, but it's kind of, sometimes that's more interesting. So the first row are major chords, but you can change this to any chord type you like. So if we just change that to a suspended second, you see that the chord type's changed on the first row, and that's now all suspended second chords that's playing. The rows, the other 3 rows, they all have their own chord types as well. So that's a G minor that's playing there. Obviously you can change that to be whatever chord type you want. Let's go for, I don't know, go for diminished. And obviously, you know, the row 3 and row 4, you can pick whatever chord type that you like. And that's pretty much it. It's multi-touch, so you can do quite sort of fancy pants stuff like so you can add like different kind of playing style. You can play basically kind of really nice arpeggiated chords with just like just the one finger, or you can do it like as though you're like a kind of big fancy pants classical pianist. So you've also got some sliders. So these are for controlling whether you want high notes or low notes. So you see that I kind of moved the low notes up there. So what's in the strum plate now? Just all high notes, and you can make it all just low notes as well. Or if you want, like for a sort of stabbing chord effect, you can move them both close together. And that's pretty much about it. What I'll do is I'll do another wee video showing you the wireless MIDI controlling some of the instruments inside Logic, and show you how you can kind of muck about with that. Okay, cheers. So what I'm going to demonstrate now is just using Strum as a wireless MIDI controller. You can see here the wireless MIDI symbol is set to on. And what this means is that Strum will send MIDI information, no on messages, to if you've got a Mac or MacBook Pro or whatever you have, with GarageBand or Logic on it or something like that, you can control the instruments. Here you'll see that I've got a cathedral organ set up at the moment. So if I play some notes here, oops, it's gone off. that'll send note on information over to your to Logic, and that'll play like the sort of cathedral software instrument. There's a couple of ways you can configure it. There's some settings that control how long the note on sounds for. So this is the note on time. At the moment that's set to 1.1 seconds. I don't know if you can see it, it's just to the right, the phone's not too great. I can adjust this over to, that's now 4.5, so this means that if I press this, the note will sound for 4.5 seconds and then it will trigger itself off. So obviously you can set it down lower, so that is now at I think that's 0.9, yep, 0.9 seconds, and if I press that after 0.9 seconds it triggers off. You can switch the note off, like the note on time off entirely. This is for if you're ever doing stuff where it's kind of quite complicated rhythms or something like that, that the note on like auto on and auto off doesn't really satisfy. So when you hold down that and take your finger off, that's when the note stops playing. So that's quite good if you're doing like chords and you just hold them down and then take it off. So what I want to sort of demonstrate as well is I'll just, because you can use Easy Strum as a controller in GarageBand or in Logic or something like that, it means that you can actually record what you're doing and edit it using like all the full features of Logic or GarageBand. This was a conscious design decision by me because I didn't want it to be just like, you know, I wanted it to do one thing and do one thing well. I didn't want it to be like a crap version of all things. So what I'll do is I'll just show you it recording. So if I just set recording on in Logic, so it's set to be playing a Japanese Kyoto, whatever the hell that is. So here we go. So if I just stop that now, and you'll see that it's recorded when I started playing, and if I play that back, it's got all the information that it needs. It's got all the MIDI notes and stuff like that it needs to kind of. It's recorded exactly what you've played on Easy Strum. So you can set up your wireless MIDI network two ways. You can do it either as an ad hoc network, and that's really good if you are out of the house and you've got your, like if you're doing a concert or something like that, or you're just around a friend's house and you can't go through a router or anything like that. You can do it, set up the wireless MIDI connection that way, or you can do it through a router. I kind of prefer doing it through a router. It's slightly less steps, but there's instructions inside Easy Strum. If you touch on the question mark, that'll take you through setting it up both ways. And it's slightly, the first time you do it, you freak out just ever so slightly, but I can now do it in under 30 seconds. And the other thing to say is that we've had some of our users have said that they're losing their Wi-Fi connection when their iPad goes into auto lock. This is a known problem with many of the applications that use the core audio, core MIDI libraries. So what I do is I've set my iPad to auto lock in 15 minutes of not touching it. This is really good if you're using like Logic or GarageBand. it will just mean that you won't have to keep recreating your MIDI connection when it gets dropped. So that's it. That's using EasyStrum as a wireless MIDI controller. Cheers.